Hey everyone, welcome back to Urban Pro Wrestling. This is going to be on UPW Radio, and I am your host, Bill Vink, along with my co-host. Once again, he's been about a week into the job, the head of the board for the fight committee, Jorge Martinez Jr. How are you liking your new position?
I'm enjoying it. Hopefully, the power doesn't go up here to my head and I start making some crazy decisions. But so far, so good.
And speaking about crazy decisions, we'll get to it later on in this episode. We're basically doing the recap, the rundown of what the heck happened on the first ever episode of UPW Unleashed. So we kicked it off with the opener again, that number one contendership match for the Bulletproof Championship. The winner of this match between Xander Maddox and Nasir Santana would go on eventually later on at a later date to face whoever won the Bulletproof title, whether that was Tristan Ty or Dominic Stuckey. Your thoughts on those two guys and the match that they put on?
Uh, First opening match from your first company is, I know it has to be a lot of nerves for both gentlemen, being the opening match on a brand new show. They definitely did more than I expected them to. The fans really enjoyed the match. They really delivered on the match. Nasir Santana was looked really good. The fans ate him up. This was a, I mean, if you just watch fans, we have to see this match. Will enjoy it. I was surprised, and I'm very high on this Santana moving forward. Now that he became the number one contender uh, for the future to challenge for the heavyweight title. So I'm looking forward to see who that match in the future, who he will challenge, and then actually see that match go down. So
Well,
I'm looking forward to that.
if you're Nasir, it's kind of like you've won. You had tough competition. And in many ways, I felt that his ego got the best of him in that match consecutively. And that's what
Yeah,
really allowed Xander to kind of control the pace for a decent amount of time in that match. Um, I think Xander just made one mistake, and that was going to the top. I think it took way too
yeah,
long, and that's really what cost him because he had him in the driver's seat. And there's a couple of times where I think both guys, if they had a little bit more incentive or just that instinct to try to put this match away quickly, I think both guys at several different points in the match could have put it away very, very quickly. I remember, when I was commentating, I had mentioned that Xander Maddox, when you wrestle him, the style is always fast paced, and he has a habit of putting guys away quickly because it's hard to keep up with the speed and the stamina that Xander Maddox has, and you could tell at certain points that Nasir was winded, and it wasn't his style because he was forced to have to keep up. Nasir is a guy who likes to play very slow and methodical, so he's going to pick you apart little by little. He's not going to wow you every single time. It was the complete opposite of Xander, but they were both hybrid type of fighters. So it was really interesting to see two different takes on two different styles. But I did actually think going into it that Xander had that match won. And then you've got to think, too, there was controversy at the end. Technically, even before the count, Xander's foot was on the rope. Like he knew he was in trouble. That was a high impact move he got hit with. He hit that face first. And his foot was on the ropes. There was a huge referee mistake. And, of course, here we can't reverse decisions. Referee's decision technically is final. But then that's when you come in. And so my question to you is, why did you let that decision stand?
well, I mean, like I mentioned, it was the first match of the first show. Like you said, we have to give some leniency, and we have to put some respect on the referee's decision. It's easy for me to go and say reverse the decision or have them do a rematch. But in this case, I want to make sure that the referee's decision is always final and we respect the decision. But definitely in the future, there will have to be a rematch happening between both of them. And hopefully, then we'll really, really, really see who is the better wrestler and who could come with the win. But right now, I mean, we have to move forward, and next time we have to do better.
So, with that being said, does it kind of like taint his victory at all? I mean, do you think that he's worthy of being the number one contender?
Hey, he got in the ring. He got the win. To me, he's worthy. Yes, there was a little hiccup at the end. There was a little mistake that was overlooked, but you cannot take away from what he did in the ring and his victory. Like I just said, we just have to make sure next time to limit those type of mistakes. And if it happens again, then I'll have to step in and reverse his decision, or you know, the match has to continue if someone says that there was a foot in the rope or someone saw it. But in this case, we only have one referee who takes care of everything in the ring, and only one set of eyes. There's so much he could do.
So then, here is my next question. Is you had mentioned that, and I was when the second match we had took place. It was for the King of Blink Championship. It was the first championship match we had on the show. Sean Hawley being accompanied to Bodie, which we already knew that was, and even in Bodie's words, handpicked him to be part of Urban Pro Wrestling, and Sean was part of that, has that UPW contract. Yes. So, you are the final say so when it comes to signing off on fights. You allowed that to happen, and then we had Sean Hawley versus Chris Ramirez for the King of Bling Championship. Were you not afraid of any bias or any corruption of power on the side of our UPW GM?
Well, we always like to give the benefit of the doubt to our employees, especially our GM. Unfortunately, Mr. Bodie there took it a little too far. So there's definitely going to be some punishments handing out pretty soon. And that's something that we as a board have to talk about to see exactly what we're going to do and moving forward. Because there were a lot of activities going on in this match.
Speaking about activities.
Too much confusion at the end.
So I don't mean to. I didn't want to cut you off, but speaking about confusion and a mess. I mean, first of all, we have a general manager getting involved literally in the match and putting his hands on an official, on the senior official referee Rodney Hunter, knocked him out, called the right hand shot. On top of that, someone who's not even signed to this company. I don't even know where. Are you aware of Tiberius Wolf being a part of UPW, or is he under contract with Bodie? Because no one ever said anything about his signing.
I was not aware. This is something that the GM did, which that's in his power to do, to bring somebody in. So hopefully he has the papers to show me that he's actually signed, or this is just looking bad for Bodie as a GM moving forward. 1 for striking an official, 2 for bringing somebody in who's not maybe not signed, 3 for the whole screw up of the end. So there's a lot of things that the GM took upon his hands to do, and that's something that's being looked under investigation moving forward.
Well, speaking about the screw up, here is the most confusing part of that, because initially after the sledgehammer shot, right, and after Chris was already knocked out. I mean, if he wasn't knocked out by the sledgehammer shot, he was choked out if he had any air left in him. But I mean, a referee's barely conscious, signaling for a no contest. The announcer says there's no contest, and then all of a sudden, to save the poor ham from getting absolutely wrecked and beaten down more, they get switched, and he's awarded the ring after a no contest. But there was no official decision that said he won the ring. So is he? Hopefully, you can kind of clarify for us. Is it a no contest? Is he the champ?
This is a very embarrassing moment in the right now that we have to sit and look. I'm embarrassed for what happened, so I would definitely have to say that to the fans first. We're definitely embarrassed, but yes, that's definitely a no contest. So now we'll have to decide, which means whatever the decision of Sean Hawley being champion, that has been overturned, and I will overturn that now. And it's definitely a no contest. There is no King of Bling champion. And moving forward, we'll have to decide exactly what type of steps we want to take. Are we going to have a match between Ramos and Sean Haley? Are we going to move Sean away from the match and have Chris Ramos go up against a new contender for the King of Bling title? So there's different avenues that I'm looking into right now to see what is going to happen. I just don't want to make a decision without really looking at the video and really thinking out what the repercussions are going to be from that decision. So, but definitely the title has been held. Sean Hardy is not the King of Bling champion. That one is, and both will definitely have to answer questions about his intentions moving forward. Is he going to be a GM? Is he going to be a manager? You can't be both. He can't be playing both sides. So it's got to be either GM with a company or a wrestler slash GM.
So to clarify, the reign is invalid. It's void.
Yes. So therefore, the match is definitely void. No contest, no match. Period.
Wow. And well, that's groundbreaking news. We need to. I'm going to tell our guy Stan to put this on social media because we need to. That this is huge.
I mean, it's the right thing to do at this time. I mean,
no, I absolutely agree. And to kind of touch a little bit on Tiberius Wolf.
Yes.
We can't really. You can't fine him. You can't suspend him. What do you?
I can't find him because he doesn't work for us. Can't suspend him either. So now I'll have to look and speak to Bodie and find out if there is a actual contract moving forward. Is he going to be an employee of UPW or not? If he's not, then he's not allowed anywhere in the ring, anywhere in the venue. If he is a wrestler on the roster, then we welcome him with open arms. But there's rules that he has to follow moving forward if he is an employee of the company.
And as for Bodie, I know you said you're still investigating. Would there be any fines, suspensions, maybe?
But me and Bodie will definitely have to have a serious talk moving forward of what he's suspected to be under a GM role, because I'm pretty sure he forgot that he was a GM at that moment.
Alrighty. I mean, that's the hot take right there, folks. That's what we try to do here on UPW Radio. That is as fresh as it's going to get off the press. So that you.
I mean, I'm trying to be as lenient as possible, but also fair for the fans and the wrestlers. But we also have to have rules in place. You can't be a GM and try to be a manager at the same time, and definitely not put your hands on a senior official in the company. I mean, we can't have stuff going on. Next thing you're going to see is going to be a suit barn running around the whole ring. So we can't have that kind of stuff happening in the company.
I absolutely agree. With that, let's go on to the triple threat match. Truman Hudson III, Brian Quill, and Raven Skylark. What was your thoughts on that match?
Well, first, when it was signed, I thought it was going to be a triple threat match. But lo and behold, it turned into a 2-on-1 handicap match against Mr. Truman. So that kind of threw a monkey wrench in the match because I never saw that happening. I'm thinking it's going to be a triple threat match and turn into a 2-on-1 handicap match. But Truman, he beat all the odds, beat everything, and he came out victorious. So,
the interesting thing about that is originally it was supposed to be Truman Hudson versus Ryan Quill. Skylark had a different match, but you had set a call time, and certain people made the call time, certain people didn't, and so you condensed it and made it a three-way. So they had Quill and Hudson had less than like 2 hours to prepare for a wild card, and Skylark and Hudson prevailed.
Yeah, and unfortunately, to the fans who were expecting to see an extra match, unfortunately, life happens. We take it as it goes. Some people, we had no show and we had to scramble things around and move things around. So I apologize to the fans that came out to see a full slate of matches, and one was taken out and condensed into a three-man triple threat match. So, unfortunately, to the fans, we apologize for that, and hopefully that will never happen again. But unfortunately, in wrestling, we can never say never. Things happens with travel issues. People get sick. A lot of things play out in the background that fans don't know and we don't share with them. But in this case, I want to share that it was a little miscommunication, and it got turned into a triple threat match. Hopefully, the fans enjoy it as much as I did. Like I said, I wasn't expecting to be a 2-on-1 handicap match. If that would have, if that would have known that would have happened, I would have made it into a full tag team match, and would have had Thurman get a tag team partner and have a full 2-on-2 match instead of being a 2-on-1 match. So for the fans, I apologize, but it turned out to be a good match anyways.
Yeah, and then the main event, which still has people talking to this day, weeks after it was over, the No Limits Championship match, Bison Clutch, the self-proclaimed No Limits champion, Bison Clutch at the time, took on Remy. And wow, that's
yes. Wow, wow is an understatement there. Yeah, Mr. Bison and Remy definitely showed a lot of promise moving forward in the rankings and moving forward in maybe championship matches in the future for both gentlemen. But I mean, the fans loved it. They tore the house down. They went out there and gave everything they had. They left it all in the ring, and that's what you want from your talent, is to always go out there and leave it in the ring and give the fans what they came to see. So,
no, absolutely. Like I said, and for starters, congrats to Bison Clutch on winning his first championship
yes.
in professional wrestling, and it was the No Limits title. And he makes not only history, not once but twice, as so far, it's his first championship win. He's the first ever No Limits champion, and there's not many first in wrestling anymore. So that was really cool to see history was made.
And also to him, I mean, he's definitely looks like the champion. I saw a post on one of his social media pages where he actually was holding the belt at a different event. So
the boxing event, yeah.
So he's definitely taking the take of being a champion and
Seriously.
promoting himself seriously somewhere else, showing off the belt, showing that he's a champion, showing that he deserved it. So the sky's the limit with Mr. Bison. As long as he stays humble, the skies will be the limit for him.
Well, it's interesting. You talk about humble and talk about Bison Clutch. Those are two things that never married each other. And I alluded to this when I was commentating on the show. Bison Clutch, even during the press conference, had backed himself into such a corner because he wrote this large check that I didn't think he was going to be able to cash. And I know I wasn't the only one. And not only
he took it.
That's the fight game. Yeah, he cashed it. Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's the fight game, though. These guys put themselves in these positions to where, you have to succeed. And I don't know if it's like a motivational thing.
And it's funny that in Florida they have a cashing place called Amscott, and he called ahead and told them, "Do not close because I have the check, and once I win this match, I'm going to Amscott and cash the check."
He did, absolutely,
wholeheartedly. That's what he did. He went later on that night and cashed the check and took his belt with him to Amscott and did what he had to do. So he wrote it, he cashed it, he delivered. Can't be mad at it.
I can't even disagree with that wholeheartedly. Yeah, I mean, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you to the head of the board of the fight committee, Jorge Martinez Jr., for joining me. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for stopping by. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of UPW Radio, the UPW Unleashed review. For myself and Jorge, we're out of here. Thank you guys so much. Subscribe to Urban Pro Wrestling on YouTube and Instagram. Subscribe to or follow us on Facebook and Twitter at UrbanPW, and check out our website at www.urbanpw.com. Thank you guys for watching again. We will see you next time. See you later.